I want you to know things are only going to get worse. They're not going to get better on earth. They're going to get worse, so get ready. All this mess you see happening now, with the little riots and things going on, and whatever, all this mess, it's only going to get worse. And it's being set up to make sure it gets worse and doesn't get better. Really, it's being set up that way, whether you realize it or not. And as you work on you, you will realize and see that it's only going to get worse. This is hell on earth. Hell is right here inside of human beings. So it's only going to get worse. The politicians want it that way. The media want it that way. Your preachers want it that way. Your mother and your father want it that way. Anyone that has anger want hell. They want it that way. And what I realized that the attack upon men, this is Father's Day, is mind-blowing to me. Men are the most hated species on this side of heaven. It doesn't matter your race. You're hated as a man. And men are weak and pathetic. I've never imagined that men could become so weak and afraid and just pitiful. Even in my darkest days, I wasn't that weak. I was weak, but not that weak. And they wanted that way. Yesterday I was watching a portion of, they had a parade for the military people. And on this particular channel, they would once in a while interview some of the young people that just gone into the military or in there. And they had it set up where there would be a black person, a woman, and a white person. But they had it set up that every time they did it, the woman had the mic, and they would ask her a question, oh, what is this or what is that? And then they would ask the black guy a question, and then they'll finally go to the white guy in every interview that I saw. And the point is, too, that they put the woman in charge. They had this little measly white girl, and I love white people. They had these two men there, and they had a little measly white girl in the middle of them. She had the mic. She controlled the conversation. The interview person gave it to her. And the poor guy, he was so weak when he was speaking, grinning and carried on. And then he said, this is my lieutenant. This is a white girl, something like that, my lieutenant. And he was just sugar and water. But this, and I noticed that men are put on the back burner on everything now. Just watch TV, and when they get so-called experts in the TV, it's always a woman doctor, woman lawyer, woman everything. Woman police chief. There was I guess a guy and a woman shot yesterday or sometime in Minnesota somewhere. Y'all heard that story? And they have a female police chief, or whatever she was. And she was a little old woman. And so the point that I'm making, the order of God is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and women over children. Nothing else is going to work but that order. And even though that the hell come through the woman, it is using women to bring hell upon the earth. Women can't even run the family without the help of the man, guiding her and stuff like that. How is she going to run a country? It's not in her. And those women that are working with Trump right now, they are under the head of Trump. They can do that on their own. It's not in them to do that. It's just the order of God. And then women who overcome being female, become a woman, they love being a woman. They're not in competition with the man or anyone. They are in their proper place and they love it. But they are Senate conservative and liberal, and Christian churches are setting this up. It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. But for you, if you continue to work on you, in spite of all the hell you see around you, you're going to be surprised it doesn't move you at all. It doesn't make you afraid. It doesn't make you think you're going to lose something. It doesn't make you feel anything about it. You just see hell and you understand it. Because in perfect love, there is no fear. Once you overcome anger, you overcome fear. But don't stop working on yourself, because you can have perfect peace right here on earth. You don't have to wait to die. The kingdom of heaven is right here in us right now. And you don't have to wait till you die and go to heaven. You don't have to wait on God. Excuse me, He's already with you. But you can have perfect peace right now. And your family member will be calling you up. How you making out there in California? What are you doing out there? I know you're scared. But you won't be thinking that way or feeling that way at all. And all the hell going on around you, but it won't be happening inside of you. And you will be free. And if you have to leave, you'll see when to leave California, if you need to leave. You won't be on the run like that. But it's going to get worse, and they are making it that way by putting the women in charge of men. And then what's weird is that the men happily go with it. They don't even fight back. They won't say no. They just go along with it, even without a fight. Why don't you put up a fight? Meaning, and when I say fight, why don't you have something to say about that when that happens? You know, say something. What you don't know, women don't have any power at all. It's just you afraid of them. They have no power. You didn't have the fear, you will have no. You'll be able to deal with all women in the same way with perfect love. But because you fear the woman is your God, you won't even say the thing. Isn't that like amazing? And if you overcome the fear, you'll speak up about it, and it'll be with perfect love, and you will see God have your back. He got your back. But the women you're talking to, some of them will get mad, but some of them will understand it. It'll make sense. Because they want you to be a man. They really want you to. Even though they'll knock you down if you try. But they'd rather for you to be a man. They need you to be a man. Because you're the light of the world. They want you to lead. Even though if you try to lead, they'll knock you down. But they're hoping you get back up. And then they'll knock you back down. And then they're hoping you get back up. But you won't even get up. That's crazy. How can you be a man and not say something? I already know how, because you make the woman your God when you reject your mother. Yes, sir. But, did I see your hand? Okay. But it's only going to get worse. But for men and women, for you, in your world, in your universe, you'll be safe. Without trying, don't try to convince yourself that you don't have fear. I'm not afraid. A person that tries to convince themselves that they are not afraid is afraid. That's why they try to convince themselves that they're not afraid, because they are afraid. Anytime you try to prove something, it's got something wrong with you. Why do you need to prove anything if there's nothing wrong with you? You know what I mean? So I recommend do what you want, but don't stop working on yourself, because it's not going to get better on earth. And this is around the world. The kingdom of heaven is in you. You can be at perfect peace if you work on yourself and overcome the world. You got to overcome the world inside of you first, and then you overcome the world outside of you. And it can and it will happen if you stay with it. Stay with the silent prayer. Watch those thoughts, live with the pain, and it'll be taken away. It really will. And be in no competition with anyone. You don't need to compete with anyone about anything. Just be you and live your life. It'll be amazing. Yes, sir.
I believe there's been an indoctrination in our minds since we were kids. And I think that's why men are so willing to listen to the women now. Like when we were little, at least my generation, we had female teachers, and all the movies started being feminized. You know, the men were weak in the movies, so it became socially acceptable.
Right.
And I think that's how the devil was working within us.
Of course.
And then when you were talking to her and she was saying that she doesn't like the light shining within her, I feel like we were all born with the light, I just say as a father, seeing my kids, they all have light within them, and they know right from wrong. They're gonna make mistakes, but there's sometimes that the darkness within me doesn't like the light within them, so it wants to kill the light and shimmer it down.
Yeah.
So like when you were talking to her, I could relate heavily because that's what I was raised with.
Yeah,
And then when you're talking
absolutely.
right now about how people listen to the women and everything, and it's completely backwards. We ever since, I mean, I don't want to get into the politics stuff, but I feel like it's been going on for hundreds of years.
For a long
the
time.
indoctrination.
Yeah. But what you don't know, well, you might know it, but if your father and mother did not have anger, because you're right, kids are born innocent. They don't hold grudges or any of those things, right? And so if your father and mother did not have anger, the world could not convince you of anything. You wouldn't fall for the media. You wouldn't fall for what the politicians say. You wouldn't fall for what your little evil friends say, because the truth is already with you, and because your father and mother are of the truth, you would be of that, and when you go out into the world as a kid, you're protected.
I couldn't
That's
agree
where
with
the
you.
indoctrination began,
Right.
with the father and the mother.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I say that because now that we're both waking up and we've gotten
Yeah.
forgiven and we're doing the right things, I can see in our kids, they can see the world and they'll come and look at us like, just like, what's going on over there?
Absolutely.
Why are they going crazy and why are we so calm?
Yeah.
It almost confuses them that because we have such a peace at home,
Yes.
that the chaos within others, they can't relate to it and they're not drawn to it. Like 'cause sometimes the chaos would say, hey, why aren't you mad? Or you're this and you're that. Why aren't you with us? Like I could care less about any of
And
that
the
stuff.
kids would, if they went off to school and
Right.
the school taught bad things, they would come home and tell the parent about it.
Our son did that all the time.
Yeah,
He
they
came
come
in
and
and he
tell you.
said they did this transgender thing and he
Right.
told us and we fixed it. But,
But
yeah,
the
he was
teacher tell
over.
the children, don't tell the parent. And
Yeah.
those bad kids don't tell the parents because
Yeah.
they're angry and they don't like the parents. But if they loved you, and they would if you had love, they would definitely tell you about it, even though the teachers say don't tell them.
It's to the point where they tell us too much, which is a good thing. But they just tell us everything.
Right
so
on,
we're
they should.
appreciative. Yeah.
Amazing. That's why the parents have to be of love, so you can train the child in the right way to go by the lights. Amazing, huh? But it's gonna only get worse, really. If you've been paying any attention to these riots and things that's been happening, these people throwing rocks and things at the police, they're like, and somebody is paying to have this done, so they bring weapons in. It's gonna only get worse, because this is the way the children of evil want it. And they want it for money and power. I guarantee you, if you went to these little rallies and you asked the people, why are you here? Why are you doing this? They can really tell you at all why they're there. They only repeat what they've been told to say. They can tell you why they're there. And then you talk to them with common sense, and they're like, oh yeah, that's true. They are illegals. I didn't think about that. They did break the law. They are criminal, but they're not thinking that way because they're not able to see. They believe their stuff because that's what they see.